As you guys may have noticed, we recently did something kind of exciting. We just hit 100,000 subscribers. That is an incredible thing to me. I am so happy that we've made it to this point, and I'm so glad to have 100,000 of you guys who are interested in continuing this journey of diving deeper into analyzing and writing and thinking about awesome or terrible song lyrics. More about that in a second, but what I'm going to do in this video is something that you guys have been asking from me for a while. I've explained lyrics, I've analyzed lyrics, I've taught you how to write lyrics, but a lot of people have asked me to share my own lyrics. And I will forewarn you, I am not the world's greatest lyric writer. There are people we analyze on this channel who are 10, 100, 1,000 times better than me, but I often preach about how valuable it is to our emotional, spiritual, mental, social well-being to be able to think about things that we're going through and then to express that in a way, to understand it to the point where you could express it, to journal about it, to share it with other people as a way of helping them. And so I wanted to set a good example for you guys, and so I wrote a spoken word for you. It was supposed to be a rap at first, but I decided that I wanted to focus on just the lyrics, and I wanted to do one thing really well rather than maybe doing two things poorly. Plus, you guys got to 100,000 way quicker than I thought you would. We thought it was going to be by the end of the year, and then it was like, oh, November, no, September. Oh my gosh, it's next week. What is happening? And so without further ado, I give you Metro Mind.
Does your mind ever feel like a city metro? It's rush hour and it's not easy to let go of 1,000 feelings and thoughts, like aimless tourists wandering lost, getting on and off at every stop, and you swear you see the same ones again and again. You smile and nod as if to acknowledge, but it's awkward, and you remember this all is how life goes after college. A job is the goal that you got, and the prize that you sought is yours because you bought a car and a house with a mortgage, and considering the shortage of reliable buses, the metro is one of those considerable pluses contributing to a speedy commute. But these tourists are awful, and truly the worst is, oh look, one's doing it now, let's educate her. Don't stand and stop on the left side of the escalator. Walk on the left and stand to the right. And theoretically, your brain should obey. The thoughts should go away and there'd be nothing else to say except, wow, I'm having a really great day. But the thoughts, they have a mind of their own, and they all start running backwards and riding on the railing, and their children are flailing and wailing. The simple escalator ride out of the metro. Will you ever forget? No. Maybe it's time to move away from the city. Speaking of unwanted feelings and thoughts, back when I lived by myself before marriage, I used to wake up with a mind disordered, and a slimy feeling. It bordered on guilt for something I hadn't recorded. It felt like spiderwebs, gross and gray, until I took a warm shower and washed it away. I wouldn't feel it again until the next morning, yet despite all the soap and scrubbing, it kept reforming. When I married April, I didn't notice at first, but I was suddenly able to wake up feeling good and clean and clear, even though I actually shower less now. The feeling stopped for like 2.5 years, and I don't know why, but it's come back now, and I find myself unable to track how it comes and goes and what it's about. It's changed and I try to figure it out, but instead of coming as I open my eyes, it's about 5 p.m. that innocence apparently dies. Wow, dramatic, I know, but it's true. The new worst part of every day is finishing work and finding my way down the stairs out the door to the parking garage, second floor on the way home. I try to ignore a feeling I can't account for. It leaves me listless. It's vicious. I feel despised and guilty and full of lies and filthy. But what for? Is there something I forgot? Was I too lazy? Did I work slow? Am I not good enough for a standard I don't know? Thankfully, the cure is walking through my front door and spending about 15 minutes in the same house as April. I know it sounds like a kitschy, stupid fable, but I don't argue with what works, I just wish I understood it. As you can see, my mind is a confusing place, and that's stupid, because my brain shouldn't be confused by itself, and yet here I am, 6 years running, world's most confused man. Let me get obvious and blunt, inartistically. A few of you will probably get this statistically, but I want to make my meanings clear. You have feelings you can't explain. Does your mind hit you on the head, throw you in the trunk, and drive away? I know part of the solution you maybe won't like, because it's never easy to choose between two sidelines, but here's what I've got. My advice is to do what I just did now. Summarizing and labeling your feelings is the first step of an internal emotional experiment. Describe them, try to understand, and if you can't, that's okay, man, not everyone can at first, but try. And if you need to, you should turn off YouTube, turn off me too, and do things that we do when we need to see through distraction and passion and things that are crashing around us like castles under siege, keeping us from being what we were meant to be. You know what I mean. Find those moments of clarity when we dare to see that our thoughts and our lives are more than they seem.
Well, there you go, guys. That was MetroMind. I'm so grateful for the team that helped put this all together. Jonathan and Nathaniel and Courtney and Mar, and then April and Strudel for being in it. April for helping me learn how to actually do spoken word. I learned a lot from this, and it was a lot of fun being able to create something on this scale. It was my first time doing something like this. And there's definitely a lot of things that I learned, a lot of mistakes that I made in particular, that will influence the way that I do something like that in the future. But it was a lot of fun, and I have to say that it was really, really cool to be able to say things that I sometimes think to myself. And I think especially with talking about like that feeling that I have when I come home from work, I had never really told anybody about that before. And so it's very freeing to be able to talk about it in a public way. And I think when you do talk about something like that, it takes away a lot of its power. And when you say, this is so unimportant that I could just share it with anybody on the internet could come watch this, really kind of takes all the power out of that feeling. And so that was a really interesting experience. Not that you should share everything. There's like some sense of propriety you gotta have. But there were just a couple of things that I learned, and I think it was a very therapeutic and a very interesting experience. And even if you didn't share what you write or create with other people, I 100% think that you should create and write something. Get it out on paper, think it through, understand it. That was one thing that I had to do, is through this whole process, by summarizing and labeling things, I really challenged myself to understand the feelings that I had. And that's essentially what the poem is about. I won't explain it for you because that would be weird to explain my own lyrics on my own channel. But I wanted to end this video by saying thank you so much for being a part of this community. My favorite part of doing this YouTube channel has always been, and still is, your comments, your thoughts, hearing from you, seeing your passion for what we're talking about, your excitement for videos, your excitement for the things that we come up with, the theories, especially when the 21 Pilot stuff is going crazy. More than 100,000 subscribers, or the small amount of ad revenue that we do get, or people being willing to support me on Patreon, which is incredible. I think that the excitement, I think when you give me your excitement, and it's not even like you're giving it in a way that I take it away from you, now I have all the excitement. It's like, excitement is one of those things that you can share. No matter how much you share it, you still have the same amount or even more than you had at first. And so I really appreciate that about our community, and the fact that we are excited about things together, and that we are passionate about things together, and that we want to discuss the deeper meanings of things. And you guys are not shallow people. You want to go deep. You want to learn more. You want to understand more. You want to think more. And so I think it's any time that you can have 100,000 people in one place that are passionate and that want to think, the world is going to pay attention. And the fact that you're all so kind and polite. Our YouTube comments are one of the greatest places on YouTube. Just one of the kindest, most thoughtful, most sincere, most beautiful places on YouTube. And that's all you guys. Like I said, my favorite part about this whole YouTube channel experience has been interacting with you, the comments with you, the conversations with you, and just reading what you have to say. So thank you for letting me be a part of your lives. Thank you for being a part of my life. And yeah, anyway guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate my patrons who support me over on Patreon. I appreciate everybody who comments, everybody who shares, everybody who just watches and just thinks about what we're talking about and is able to make their lives better as a result, hopefully. Thanks to my wife, April, who is super supportive of this whole thing, family and friends who have not gotten to see me as much because I am posting new videos, and wow, 100,000 subscribers is crazy. I'll definitely be showing that silver play button to you guys when it gets here. And yeah, I'll talk to you next time.